Hi everyone, welcome back for another whiskey review. Well, today is number 8. Number 8, the 8th night of my Advent calendar journey, working my way through this beauty that I was very graciously gifted all the way back in 2019, and I have finally now in 2025 found some time to do the Advent calendar properly and get stuck into 24 gems this particular Advent calendar presents. Now, hopefully you've seen some more in the series by now, especially the last one I did, which was just magic, the Jura 21 Tide. So far, my favorite whiskey out of the box, but I feel like it's about to get knocked off that pedestal because I'm about to get stuck into a really, really special whiskey from the Dalmore. Now, I've got a great story to tell about this particular whiskey. Well, I've got a lot of stories to tell, you know. Some people say I tell too many whiskey stories, but there can never be too many whiskey stories. But there can be a shortage of good whiskey, which this one is not. So many moons ago, a few of us friends gathered, and I had, for this gathering, arranged a bottle of Macallan 25 because the person whose honor we had arranged this gathering had told me many years ago that for him in particular, if he ever got hold of a bottle of Macallan 25 and could drink it, it would be just the end of him. That's the highest he could think he could go. The Macallan 25-year-old, and in fact for me as well, you know, I mean, I like Macallan, don't necessarily buy and open bottles with my own money, but I've drunk a lot of them. In fact, I think start of this year or late last year, I reviewed a whole lot of them in a row, and I've got more actually sitting to review as well. So on the night, you know, built it up, beautiful steaks, lovely cigars, and we drank a few different whiskeys, and finally, you know, drum roll, we got to the Macallan 25 and we opened it. And how to say this delicately, it fell flat. It just, there was no magic. We had built it up so much and tried so many other drams. And we got to the Macallan 25, there was no magic, there was no sort of shining light coming out of the sky, pointing to the bottle, and money didn't fall out of the sky. It just wasn't a earth-shattering experience. Whereas I guess at that point we had a few drams, including some cask strength drams, which didn't do justice to that whiskey. But on the night, another bottle in amongst the crowd of bottles we had opened was a bottle of the Dalmore King Alexander. And I remember us all sort of, you know, thinking, what are we doing next? And then someone grabbed the King Alexander bottle back, put it on the table, and we spent the rest of the night thoroughly enjoying that whiskey. And in fact, at that point, we thought that whiskey tasted way better than the Macallan 25. Now, I'm not saying any of these words to try and say, don't buy the Macallan 25 and buy this bottle, because the Macallan 25, I would hate to guess what are they going for, especially the sherry branch. Well, this one retails for around $500. It's gone up in price, unfortunately. That's, you know, when it's available, because it's been out of stock in New Zealand for a long time as well. But just wanted to share that for context, you know. I mean, I'll just make up a number. Back in those days, this probably happened in 2018, 19. The Macallan 25 was $3,500, and this bad boy, the full bottle, was only $200, $230. So that's where we're talking a tenth of the price, but in terms of flavor and smell experience, but also the companionship, the bottle delivered. Now, enough of the storytelling. Let's try this whiskey, because I actually haven't tried it for a long time. I would like to think since at least COVID, I haven't tried it. It gets open at trade shows and tastings, trade days quite a lot. You know, you do the vertical Dalmore build up, and quite often they'll finish on the King Alexander. Well, here's the color. Deep, rich color, and bottled at 40% ABV. Now, I had to make some notes, and I want to make sure I get it right. Single malt Scotch whiskey, matured in vine, Madeira, sherry, masala, and Kentucky bourbon. And finally, port casks. So 6 different casks are being used to age this particular whiskey. Now, you would think, why would they do that? And why there's no age statement? And without the age statement, why is it so expensive? Well, I mean, a whiskey like this is a good example of why the master blenders or distillery managers often earn their keep. You know, I mean, this is a bit of a mad experiment, and where I'm assuming someone at Dalmore has been absolutely let loose in the warehouse and cherry pick some of the best barrels, irrespective of the age, but kind of marry a few things together to create something that is very rich in experience, which has nothing to do with trying to put an age statement and all that kind of stuff. You know, this is something unique that they put together. It's done on a limited number. Price doesn't always mean it's been aged for a long period either. It is just representing a good quality whiskey and obviously the craft of blending all the stuff together. All right, let's nose it and see what's it like, and hopefully we'll bring back those happy memories of sharing this bottle. I'm going to name the fella now, Glenmarvin. It was at Glenmarvin's party. We opened the Macallan 25 and the lads loved the Dalmore King Alexander instead. All right, I digressed enough. Nice. Rich. There's a bit of a sort of orange peel, rich sweetness underneath. Oh, caramel. Very, very interesting. It almost gives you sort of, and I haven't drank this whiskey in a while, Oban, 14-year-old, you know, when he knows the Oban, because you kind of get that orange peel, that waxy note. But this has got a whole lot more going on. There's like a rich caramel. There's some of the tropical fruits trying to come forward. There's no spice on the nose so far. I just get a hint of that cherry. But it's very nice on the nose, you know what I mean? Sitting here tonight, I have no idea what is the age, but if I had to guess, there's some old whiskey in there. You can sort of smell that rich oaky notes. It's very, very nice. All right, let's try it on the palate. Wow. It's actually, I have to say it, that sort of richness is there, but it falls in the palate almost like actually a delicate cognac or a great whiskey liqueur, which is not meant to be sweet. It's not supposed to be dramatic. It's supposed to be just a, here we are. So I'm experiencing a little bit of spice, that zestiness, that rich fruitiness is there. I remember tasting a lot more raisiny sweetness, and I mean, I don't know how to compare the different batches. The bottle we drank that night, that was a long time ago, and I mean, in fact, this is 2019. This calendar was made, so you would think the whiskeys were closer, but I remember finding a lot more raisins sweetness on the palate. Where this time it's more of the tropical fruit flavors. One thing I'll have to say though, all of the flavors are disappearing very, very quickly, and that's not how I remember it that night. But at that point, at that night, we had tried 8, 9, 10 different whiskeys, so it might have been the overall volume of whiskey consumed that night that might have been carrying the flavors forward. But hey, look, it's good. Let's try one more time, see what I think. But so far, it's falling in the short to medium finish. Nice. Very good. A bit more pepperiness on the palate. Oh, good. It's good. Just not how I remember it. I was looking for a little bit more of that sweetness, as I say. Whereas this has got a different style of sweetness, which is absolutely fine. And that's one of the things I like about limited edition whiskies. From batch to batch, they can be a bit different, which is the love and joy. You know, a King Alexander batch you bought all those years ago might be different from the ones we're getting in New Zealand now or in other parts of the world, but overall the whiskey absolutely stacks up. $500 plus retail now, so it's getting up there in price, but obviously I don't have the box here, but it's great presentation, and I love all the Dalmore bottles, you know, the glass they use and the crest on top. It's just, you hold the bottle and you feel quality and you feel good about yourself when you open a bottle of Dalmore. Well, that's all I've got to say about this particular whiskey. If you're liking the content, please like, share, subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the very near future with another whiskey review. See you later. Bye-bye.